Hey you guys. Hey everyone, rather. How are you all doing? I already had to redo the video once because it turned out that I had some stuff on my face. So part of me thought about rethinking the long time no see joke, since I literally put up a video a few days ago. But, it was pretty cool. The last few things that I've done, we did a 1997 VPET unboxing, Japanese and English version. And then we also did the version 15th Digivice, along with the crest and tag set. So I thought it might be cool to do something else that's kind of connected to the early days of Digimon. So I thought today it might be really cool to talk about the Digimon Analyzer back from 1999. I thought it's actually kind of relevant right now because if you've been keeping up with the 2020 Digimon Adventure reboot, remake, however you kind of want to look at it, this is kind of fitting because this is a pretty cool picture of Metal Greymon. I think, honestly, being kind of a big fan already. But, Metal Greymon shows up, supposedly, in the next Adventure 2020 episode. So, that's kind of a little fitting connection there. But I thought it might be cool to kind of go through this. This is something I had picked up a while back, probably 8, 9, 10 years ago at this point. I'm not going to lie, the Digimon Analyzer was a very, very, very big want for me, especially since it never came out in America. At least we got the D-Terminal later on when 02 was out in America. But, we never got the Digimon Analyzer, so it was one of those that, growing up as a kid, having the Digivices, all that kind of stuff. Of course, seeing Izzy, Koushiro, however you want to put it, Koushiro-han. It's just seeing the Digimon Analyzer in the show. It's a pretty cool part of it. It's a really big deal. So, I'd always kind of wanted it growing up, seeing it online and everything. On File Island, I'd always kind of click through. It was one of those things, you always want what you can't have. Right. So, I ended up picking this up through Yahoo Japan auctions way, way back in the day. I'd actually had a pretty cool comment conversation on one of the last videos, maybe it was the Digivice one, kind of talking about how I think if you're a Digimon fan and you are looking to get a lot of the Japanese releases, of course the more modern stuff coming out on Premium Bandai, pretty easy to get through Nippon Yasan, Japan You Want, all that kind of stuff. But, it's pretty awesome being able to go back. I used Selga, for example. They're an intermediary that lets you, even if you're not in Japan, you can go through and you can buy items off Yahoo Japan auctions. They pretty much bid on it, they get it shipped to them, and then they ship it to you wherever you are. Like I said, I use Selga, which granted that was like 9, 10, 11 years ago. So I'm not, they were really good for me back then. I don't know if they're necessarily the best choice nowadays. But that's how I ended up getting this. So I was really excited because it was in the original box and everything. So as we kind of pull it apart, there was one thing that kind of stunk about it, but I'll kind of get to that here in a second. But you can tell just kind of looking at the box, like I mentioned, a really good picture of Metal Greymon down here. You've got a...
I love this.
I know, it's like Metal Greymon coming out of the screen, right? And that's actually a really good point because if you look up here, if you look really close, it's kind of faded on the box because of the effect, but that's a Metal Greymon sprite that's on there. So he's being brought into the real world, emerging, right? And then we've got an old school pendulum up there. Since this does, you can use the analyze feature on the original Digivice, the pendulum, on some of the VPETs. You can even do it with the version 20 stuff, but some stuff kind of shows up differently because of indexing and all that. But it's cool, even just looking at, it's the only thing I hate about over here, the light. Got some sprites over here, with the puzzle feature. We got Patamon, Gabumon, Greymon, having to put them together. I think altogether it's got about 198 Digimon that are in this, from the early days. And you can see the connectivity both with the Adventure Digivice, the pendulum. Then let's see if there's any other information on here too. No, those are pretty much the same. Well, actually, they're not the same sprites because look, we've got Agumon, Piomon, Tentomon. But we'll go ahead and open it up really quickly. I love it. The only thing that I kind of hate about mine is I ended up getting a pretty good price on it, especially back in the day, but the one thing that sucks is that it's missing the battery cover. So that's a big bummer. That's one thing that I've always kind of hated. No joke, I've had some eBay searches saved over the years for Digimon Analyzer battery cover, but nothing ever seemed to kind of work out. But you can tell, this is a pretty cool little device. Of course, you've got the pineapple logo up here, kind of playing off Apple, especially back in the day. But it opens up like this. It stays up pretty well. I'm not sure. I'll try to get a little bit more in the light from when we actually turn it on. So let's try. Oh, look, it's got. Oh, you can't really. Oh, it's got my name, Panda Colin. You can tell I've definitely popped this open before. Setting the clock. I just had to reset I had to put new batteries in it. Oh, I guess I can put in the number, can't I? So actually, let me pull out my my X3, which, if you can notice, it's dead. I started it up the other day kind of planning to get some of the cool evolutions. I turned the sound off, and next thing I knew, it was dead. So that was a bummer. But it's 17... 38... look, I totally messed it up. Nah, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Oh, look at it booting up. That's so cool. You can't really tell, but... Yeah, look at that, man. Go 1999 Digimon Analyzer. Pulling in the Digimon logo there. I do love, even though obviously this is pretty old, and you think about now just whether it's tablets, Chromebooks, all that kind of stuff, I do really love a lot of the little... there's something about, if you're into video games, for example, you had the Dot Hack series that came out on the PS2, or in the early 2000s. And I always thought that was really cool for being an offline video game. I felt like it was just really cool, the fact that it emulated the internet. And, even though obviously this isn't necessarily the same thing, right? You've got Analyzer, Clock, Friend List, Connect, Trash. It's like, the menu of a computer. It's still pretty cool, and I think especially, being a kid in the late 90s when you didn't really have access to, like, nice laptops, iPads, all that kind of stuff. It was just kind of a different world. So one thing I did want to do with this, because you've got a few different modes. You've got, of course, like the Analyzer analysis, a few different things on here. One thing that I thought might be pretty cool to do is I dug out some of my older Digivices. Actually, I only brought this one out because it's broken. It kind of stinks. It's my childhood orange American Season 1 Digivice, and you can tell I had some issues with the battery cover, so that's actually an older, like I mentioned, I always mess up the clip, so go figure. This is kind of just a relic for me. The pendulum doesn't even work anymore, so that's kind of nice to have around, but I pulled that out anyway. But I figure for this, we'd actually try out, I've got, both the Digivice 15th that we had the other day. Look at Palmon over there sleeping, and then I stuck batteries in my American Season 1 Digivice. So let's see, let's see a better way up. So look, we've got Gabumon, Biomon. Let's go with off the screen. Let's go with Patamon. Starting up this adventure. And I just wanted to go through really quick and just try to do the okay. Hey, sorry, my phone crapped out again. Go figure. It seems like every time I make a video now it tries to do it. But I'm going to go through and I'm just going to go through and analyze one of my old Digivices. But I thought before we did that, since it is an unboxing video, we could go ahead and look through the manual really quickly. You can tell a lot of kanji, especially right here. Some furigana, which is pretty nice. It makes it a little bit easier to read. But kind of going through, obviously everything's in Japanese. This is a pretty big manual, especially for some Digimon stuff at this point. You can tell here this is pretty much just going through like the functions of the analyzer. Like you've got all the different analyze options, and we're going to use connect here in a few minutes.
Here's how to put on the battery cover you lost.
I didn't lose it. It came without it.
Okay, my bad.
So I wish I had one. If anyone can hook me up with if anyone watching this happens to have an extra Digimon Analyzer battery cover, I don't want yours, to peel you away from the one that you need. But at the same time, I definitely won't complain if I was able to get my hands on one. So this is, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here. Look, Bandai saying hello. At least it says my name now whenever I pop it on. Talk about personalization. But it's cool. When I was flipping through this a little bit earlier, I noticed. I love that Airdramon sprite. Look, that's pretty cool, isn't it? And then we've got look at Taichi down there, and then we've got, you know, the old school Airdramon sprite. So I feel like this is a pretty I don't know, this era of Digimon is really, really cool for me in a lot of ways. Not just because it was early on when stuff was getting started, but if you think about the original pets, you know, you were dealing with you know, the old school LCD sprites, right? Which, you know, if you think about for the original Digital Monster, the Pendulum series, I mean, really, you know, they were very limited in size, which is what's cool about, you know, the Japanese Adventure Digivice, is that was really the first time that you had bigger, more detailed sprites, which, you know, it's kind of interesting because if you go back to the American one, they had to completely redo all the sprites since it had a smaller screen. You know, it was much closer to the original Digital Monster sprite size. But I think that is one thing that's really cool about, like I said, this era of Digimon, is that, you know, whenever you're used to seeing little stuff like this for Airdramon, you know, it's one thing, but then you start getting used to the TV show or the trading cards and all that kind of stuff. And I think, you know, being able to go through the Digimon Analyzer and see, you know, some pretty advanced looking sprite work, you know, especially for the time, is really cool. And I think, you know, the perfect example of something like that is a little bit later on down the road whenever you get the Digi window, whenever Sabers came out. So I just think that's one of the cool aspects of this. We've got a lot of Airdramon for the examples in here. More Taichi, we got Bodamon down here. Of course, here it shows the original Digivice and a Pendulum, so they're both. And look, it's cool, and it even connects with a version Wonderswan. So look, that's awesome. Really, the same example of what I was talking about is like you've got Patamon here in the original Digital Monsters, and then you see the Analyzer sprite, which is pretty cool, especially for the time. And then down here you can see too some of the little cool things that they do with the Analyzer is that you know, they use these older sprites, and then it also uses the attack animations too. So I think that's something that's you know, I think especially if you're into the older Digimon devices, there's a lot of really cool stuff to play around with here. Oh, it's even got like telephone numbers. That's cool. So obviously, we got Monochromon over here. Is that for blood type? Whoa, insane! That's pretty cool. So just kind of going through that really quickly. Good old Digimon channel. You know, a lot of spend a little bit of time there. We'll go ahead and boot this up and try to use the Analyzer function really quickly. And of course, it turns off as I'm about to do that. Let's see. So let me pull out this Digivice. Let me switch to... Let's try Veedramon and see how that goes. Let's do connect. Oh, I gotta change the time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it thinks it's 11:25, go figure. Oh man. Been so long since I messed around with it. Okay, we're gonna say it's 11. Nope. We're gonna say it's 11 a.m. Perfect. So Veedramon better be awake. So let's go ahead and go to Analyze and Connect, and let's see if Veedramon shows up. Oh crap. Oh. Connect. Okay, let's see. Is it gonna be? Whoa, look, Veedramon popping up on there. He's like, Taichi, let's do some cool stuff. And look, you even, that's pretty awesome, right? Just even getting to see the sprite. Whoa, look, so I guess, man, this really does give you quite a bit of information, doesn't it? Vaccine type, it's that Digimon Pendulum. So awesome! Look, that got added to the database. Let's try out. Let's go for. let's go for Agumon, even though that's pretty, you could argue that's kind of basic, right? Let's try Omegamon. Let's see if Omegamon pops up on here. Connect ready. Oh, connect error. Go figure. Let's try War Greymon for this one. Okay, so that's giving me an error, and I'm always like, is it my fault? Is it something I'm doing? Is it the device? Is it the button I'm pressing? Okay, so Agumon, normal Agumon got pulled through. Literally one of the most like basic Digimon. Not in a bad way, but yeah, look at that little Agumon. The old school sprite. Yep, Digital Monster version 1, so the Pendulum, so Vidramon was Pendulum version 4. Oh yes, added. Let's go. Well, there's Greymon. Oh, is it going to add everything? Well, cool. Look at Metal Greymon, heck yeah. Virus, Digital Monster version 1. This is cool. This is really the first time I've messed around with much of the analyzing. And then also, so it shows both the original and then, so it shows the Metal Greymon, both the virus version from the original Digital Monster, and then it also shows the Virus Busters one, the vaccine one in the Pendulum version 5. So that's pretty cool. And we'll just do one more. We'll just do one more of these. Let's add. I guess let's go for. Did you make it? I'm asking Diana. Did you make it to? So Diana, we ended up watching through 02, Tamers, and I think we got maybe through the first half of Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We never finished.
I know, believe it or not, right?
We started with 2.
We started with 02, so you could just like imagine Diana coming into it. I mean, fans definitely have their differing opinions about 02. I tend to, I really like Daisuke a lot. I think he's pretty cool. Veemon's one of my favorites, but
we had to watch. If you had shown me Tamers first, I never would have watched 1 or 2.
I know, I feel you. So it's cool because, so you did see the Wizardmon part. Did we get to that point? Which is cool because when we were in Japan, of course, we went to Odaiba, saw the Fuji TV building and all that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and try to connect Wizardmon.
Wizardmon.
Oh, connect error on that one too. I'm guessing, is that because it's, I don't know. But it was kind of cool getting to go through that a little bit, and I just thought, for the fun of it, we might go ahead and, well, it's been so long since I messed around. Look at states. That's crazy. The original US Digivice is pretty gnarly. Slot game, card game, spent a lot of time in that slot game. Okay, so let me try. I'm horrible at evolving on this thing nowadays. Okay, so we'll try to connect one more. So, error, am I pressing the right button? Because that is one thing with a lot of the devices, is the fact that you have to, sometimes it depends, you got to press a certain button. Yeah, so it looks like that won't connect or anything like that. Crap. Of course, get into the menu and I'm stuck. But honestly, even just kind of playing around with it this little bit, being able to scan Agumon, Vidramon, is pretty cool. I think the analyzer is really awesome. I would really like to just sit down and, since it keeps your data, I would like to go through and just kind of unlock everything one day. You can either, analyze it straight from the Digivices, or you can go through and you can kind of do like these little puzzle mini games to unlock stuff too. I just haven't really necessarily gotten around to it. And honestly, one big part of that was, even back in the day, it was always kind of convenient, whether it was the English or the Japanese D terminal. That tends to be a little more updated, has more options, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I still think, if you're a big fan, especially now with the 2020 remake coming out, I think it's really cool just being able to have something like this. It's definitely kind of a big part of Digimon history. I really don't pull this out too much. Neither do I really. Like I mentioned, I really just use the D terminal a lot more than the analyzer or the Digi window or anything like that. But it's pretty cool, and like I said, I'm really happy to have it. So, I think honestly this doesn't go for a ton of money anymore. I think maybe $60, $70 or something like that, which is a pretty good deal compared to a lot of the devices that are out there. But I definitely recommend picking it up if you're a fan, if you ever come across one. Like I mentioned, I got mine off Yahoo Japan auctions way back in the day. But, I think with any kind of Digimon product, a lot of times, if you're just kind of patient, if you wait it out. So, my phone pooped out again, so I'm going to go ahead and take that as a sign that maybe I should go ahead and wrap it up and stop talking so much. But like I said, it's pretty cool. Even just kind of, I'll probably sit around, maybe even scan some more of these, just kind of see what all's on there. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for checking it out. I figure, I really enjoy getting to do some of these unboxing videos, just because, a lot of this stuff I've had for a long time means a lot to me, and it's cool just being able to share it with other people. Some of the conversations that I've had in comments, I usually don't comment from Diana's account, so I just try to go in there and reply with my own. But, it's been really cool getting to talk to some people, hear about your experiences, your Digivices, all that kind of stuff. So feel free, leave some stuff in the comments, whether it's stuff you like, stuff you don't like, questions, comments, recommendations, all that kind of stuff. And until next time, happy taming, happy hatching, happy, I don't know, just enjoy Digimon, enjoy life, whatever. Take it easy. Have fun. See ya.